Oh, on stage I felt safe and secure, and I was free. I was free from all the turmoil of Auntie Mama that hung over me when I'm not performing. I was so free, and I stopped. That feeling that made me feel like a lost little bird and act like a little lost bird who didn't know where to land. And always seeking approval from others, from my mama, Auntie Mama, my sister Vivian, and later my husbands. Yes, I've had 2 husbands so far. And always seeming to find self-worth unattainable when not performing. But when performing, I stopped feeling like a lost little fawn, all alone in the woods, wide-eyed and wondering. You know, maybe I was looking for the love I never had with my mother and father. And then later in my life, through the course of my whole life, it seems that just when things were going great and my soul was happy, something would go wrong. Sort these music sheets and scripts for all the things I'm getting ready to do. I just wanted someone who would love me true. If you do, then I'd be so good to you. All I ask is for your hand, for you to be my man. My love, it has no end. When you smile, I get all giggly inside. When you laugh, I just smile until I cry. If you come to me, my love, I swear by stars above, I'll never break your heart or make you. I'll never break your heart. Let's finish what we started. I'll never break your heart. Don't make me cry. Then in 1929, the 4 of us left to go to Los Angeles. Getting work was hard for Viv and me. They kept telling us we were too light, especially me. But I did get some work in some of the soundies like Paper Doll, Easy Street, and yes, indeed, among the 9 that I did during that time period. This dress, I don't think I want to take this one. Viv and I, along with our neighbor Etta Jones, we formed the Dandridge Sisters. We joined the 5 rhythmics and we traveled for 5 years steadily working. We made our film debut in the great broadcast of 1936 with George Burns, Billy Bojangles Robinson, Wendy Baines, the Benny Bahar Dancers, and the Nicholas Brothers at Paramount Studios. You know, when I traveled to Europe, though, I had that freedom again. In Europe, we were treated like people and not a race or a color. Now, you know I'm mixed. My father was Mexican English, and my mother, Ruby Dandridge, she was black, but I never, never denied my blackness and was always very proud of my race, even writing letters about the racial inequalities in this country. And I even got to introduce Martin Luther King Jr. at one of his public speaking rallies in 1963 at what he himself said was the largest and most enthusiastic rally he'd seen, right here in Los Angeles Wrigley Field, over 50,000 people. Ah! Oh, but I so enjoyed living in Europe and being there. You know, where I felt like a person. I really felt valued. When we traveled to New York, I met Harold Nicholas. Now, he was rehearsing when I walked in, and I stopped him dead in his tracks. Ooh, he was really a great dancer. The attraction between us was immediate. He really locked his eyes on me. Just so you know, both Fayard and Harold were interested in me. But Harold won. He got the prize. Oh, let's see, we performed at the Cotton Club with Cab Calloway, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Jigsaw Jackson, Sunshine Sammy, the Benny Bahia Dancers, and the Nicholas Brothers. Harold began to court me. He'd take me out to dinner and for long drives. Now, I was only in my teens, so you know, Auntie Mama, she kept that evil eye of hers stretching for as long as she could. Then I broke from the Dandridge sisters doing the movie Four Shall Die and a production of Meet the People. The Dandridge sisters were over. I did a musical presentation with Bing Crosby, Frankie Darrow, Benny Bahia Dancers, and Bill Bojangles Robinson. We did a Christmas benefit for needy children and gave them gifts. You know, I always wanted children, more children, but you never know. I'm only in my early 40s, so maybe next year. I performed at the Orpheus Theater with the Floyd Ray Orchestra and the Rayettes, and at the Cafe It in Los Angeles. I had a role in the movie, The Lady from Louisiana, with John Wayne, no less. And then in 1941, I was in Sun Valley Serenade with the Nicholas Brothers. I felt like I was living a dream, singing and tap dancing in a movie with them, in a movie with the Nicholas Brothers. Oh, pardon me, boys, is this the Chattanooga choo-choo? I had roles in 5 films in 1941. Four Shall Die, The Lady from Louisiana, Sun Valley Serenade, Sundown, and Bahama Passage, and a lineup of shows I was doing. Harold continued to court me. He'd end up in hot kisses and embraces. Ooh, Harold, oh, don't do that. I guess maybe right here. Oh, hot kisses and embraces, and decided to get married before it got out of hand. Now, Auntie Mama and Mama, they were thrilled. Married now, Auntie Mama, she couldn't touch me anymore. She couldn't glare at me with those eyes. I was free. This is a great one for a luncheon. Yes. How happy we will be, 'cause this man, he loves me. And I love him. He makes me spin and laugh out loud in glee. How happy we will be. I hope that he can see that love is all, love is pure, love can open any door. This is my dream place to be. When he looks in my eyes, all I do is smile. Then he holds me tight. And ooh, that's good for a while. How happy we will be. It was my first time with a man, and I was very young. Harold was trying to make love to his new bride, and I just couldn't. I kept seeing it. And to Mama, remembering those eyes and her pushing me down on the bed and inspecting me. You see, I had gone out with some friends, and there was a young man in the group, and she was so sure I had done some, but no, Auntie Mama. Auntie Mama, please. Oh no, Auntie Mama. Mommy, where are you, Mommy? I was trying to consummate our marriage and was left with a woman with no experience, a woman with traumatic sexual experiences. Finally frustrated, Harold turned his back to me while I just lay there sobbing quietly. Harold's turning away grew more, and he turned away from our home on 27th Street between Arlington and Cimarron in an almost all-white residential area. Golf games and women and parties became his main objective. You know, sometimes he wouldn't come home until very, very late at night or early the next morning. But he always came home eventually. At night he goes, I'm missing him. I sniff his clothes, I'm missing him. Then I hear the key to the door. I know he's home again for me. I don't know what I do if he left me. I might just die on my chair. 'Cause when he comes home house with my sister-in-law Jerry after a car accident put me in the hospital with a back injury. Ooh, she was smart as a whip. And unlike me, she knew to tell people where they could go if they were causing trouble for her. She was also very, very intelligent, especially about Black issues. So with me not finishing my schooling and my fantastic memory, oh, I soaked up information from her like a little sponge. And I also felt so much better after I talked to her about Harold and I's problems. Then in March of 1943, I found out I was pregnant. I was so happy. We both were happy for a while. On September 1st, I awoke in great pain, convinced the baby was coming. But Harold, who was so sure it was a false alarm, he quieted me down with Ruby on the phone, and then he took me to Jerry's house. Then he left and said he would be back early in the afternoon, but not before getting a good scolding from Jerry, who was angry he would leave his wife, knowing the baby might come at any moment. And then, back then, we had a car. But Harold's friends picked him up to play golf, and he didn't even leave the car keys. And I kept thinking, he won't do that. He won't leave me like this. He won't leave his wife nor the baby's coming. Well, my contractions, they kept getting worse. Worse and worse and worse. And Jerry and her sister Rose, they tried to get me to the hospital sooner, but I wanted to wait on Harold. This was our firstborn, and I wanted my husband to be there for the birth of our baby. And Jerry, well, she empathized with me, so we just waited, and we waited. But when my water bag broke, everything just was bursting inside of me. I could feel the baby. Harold, where are you, Harold? Harold, you should be here. The baby's coming, Harold. Where are you? Well, we left to go to the hospital. And when we got there, it was another wait. Oh, delivery of my daughter was horrible. They had to use forceps to help her to come, and those scars served as a constant reminder to me. And finally, on September 2nd, 1943, at 2:42 a.m., Carolyn arrived. Harold got there a little less than an hour after she was born. Oh, but it was such a joy to finally hold my daughter in my arms for the first time. And when we left that hospital, those blue skies were just glistening for us. Many friends, neighbors, and family members came by to see my beautiful, beautiful daughter. She was perfect, just gorgeous. But then in 1945, I really began to worry about Liv's behavior. She would scream and cry, no matter what I did for her. I tried everything, different linens, different lighting, different paint on the walls, everything. Nothing worked. While the Nicholas brothers were away on tour, I took Lynn to see many, many doctors. Now, these visits usually ended with me sitting in the chair, crying my eyes out, and Lynn would sit or she would stand with that blank stare. And then she would start making those little noises she would make. Finally, the doctors told me that my daughter would never reach beyond the mentality of a 3-year-old child. Just cry, scream all day long. And my daughter, she never spoke. Never, not even one word. Can you imagine that? Do not hear your child speak or, even say the word mama or dada. Harold, situation and he threw himself into his work and other women. My sadness was really, really getting to me, and I flew to Europe to be with Harold. I remember Jerry and I, we walked into the restaurant where Harold was having lunch with friends, and he didn't even acknowledge us. We were nobody to him. I was so hurt and angry. If I could, I would have stomped my feet through that floor, and yes, I did. I took some pills. But Jerry found me and rushed me to the hospital. Oh, Jerry, I don't know where or what I'd be without you in my life. So invaluable to me. Finally, I realized my marriage had crumbled to nothing and I had to leave Harold. But you know, I had to tell myself over and over, Dorothy, you've got to get out. Get out. Get out, get out, get out, get out. I had to tell myself over and over because I just loved Harold so much. I loved him tremendously. I so wanted it to work. The divorce wasn't final until 1951, after I had exhausted all chances of a reconciliation with Harold. During the separation from Harold, which began in 1948, I signed up at the Actors Studio Lab. Now, they were considered communist for accepting students like myself. Anyone was who was involved in any civil rights activities during that time period in 1948. Even I was. I was at an event where there were some civil rights leaders present, and I got up and sang. They asked me to sing, and I sang a couple of songs. But a sophisticated and stern letter to Zalznick at 20th Century Fox squashed those rumors that had spread throughout the industry. At the Actors Lab, I met and became close friends with Marilyn Monroe. Yes, Marilyn Monroe. We were so close, and we were just like sisters and did tons of fun things together. And Marilyn spent many nights sleeping on the white rug beside the fireplace at my home on Hilldale, after she told me everything about her loves, everything, her goals, anything there was to know about Marilyn Monroe. I knew it, and Peter Lawford knew it. We were like 3 peas in a pod. I continued my relationship with Phil Moore, yes, the Phil Moore, and I began to start my sex symbol image on the nightclub scene. My career took a huge upturn when I met Earl Mills at one of Phil Moore's Sunday musicals at his home. You see, Phil would have these musicals at his home where he would invite artists to come, and they would do skits and sing and dance, and hors d'oeuvres were flowing, champagne was flowing. Such a wonderful time. You know, I think when I get back on my feet and I'm able to buy another home, I'm going to have events like that at my house. Well, Earl and I signed a contract, and I began to work even more. I had just finished Harlem Globetrotters and Tarzan's Paris. And then later in 1953, Bright Road. Oh, one of my favorite films of all time was Bright Road. I loved doing that film. I loved being around those beautiful, beautiful children. And you know, they were around the same age that Lynn was at the time. And Harry Belafonte, he wasn't too hard on the eyes either. Oh, I continued to work in clubs in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And I became the first black entertainer to headline at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York. Of course, after demanding that blacks be able to go and sit and do whatever they wanted to in that fine establishment. Then I heard about Otto Preminger. Oh, and he was directing and producing the film Carmen Jones, with an all-black cast, the first of its kind to be done in brilliant Technicolor. Getting the leading role in this film was a pivotal point in my career. By now, this dress, I think I've got to try it on because it was a little tight for me. I don't think I can take it, but let's see. Let's see if it fits. Oh, it still fits me. By now, 1954, the industry still had not created dramatic roles for black actresses. I was going to change that, and the time was now. For my next appointment with Otto, let's see what it looks like with these earrings on too. For my next appointment with Otto, I sashayed into his office. Oh, I sashayed in there. Because I didn't get the job with my first appointment in a sultry outfit. He laughed because I got the part. Here I shine again, signing my name on the line. Been down a bit, but now I'm ready to shine. Was down in the dungeons, left all alone in the dark. But now I've risen, this song I sing from my heart. Here I shine again, after the gloom is through. I shine, I'm coming back. My heart is full of love and that. I'm shining like I always knew I could shine. I could shine for you and you and you and you and you. Remember that the time is now. Yes!
Wow. All right. How do I follow that? Thank you, Wanda.